This is Bethany Gagne, founder of the Albany Peace Project, and today I'm here with Glenn Hogue, who has just recently, in the past year, started to participate in Numinous. And Glenn, I know you're helping to run the monthly men's group.
Yes, I am.
Yep, we're at Spiritual Conversations for Men, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But could you tell people about why you started meditating? It was 22 years ago?
It was 22 years ago, and my life changed because of an illness that shifted me, and I found alternate thought and realized I had a choice in how I wanted to live, and I wasn't just a puppet on a string playing a role. And eventually meditation worked its way into that, and the momentum from the successes, little successes in the beginning, but the successes continued to build and build, and to this day I continue to meditate, struggle.
Right. And you were talking about how in your early days, you felt as though you had that wonderful metaphor of saying that there was a train. How did you put it about your racing thoughts? You didn't just say they were racing, they were...
It was a bullet train.
A bullet train.
The Buddhists were telling me about the butterfly thoughts floating by, and I had nothing but a wave of thought going by, trying to jump into it.
So you had said that you had, in your efforts, as you were facing this illness, and in your efforts to kind of explore this more, you went to a Buddhist place to learn how to meditate, but you felt as though it was kind of forced?
Yeah, well, I mean, they certainly had their structure.
Right, absolutely. In a good way. You're right.
Yeah, well, in a way, like, structure was what I always rebelled against. The churches, the rigidity of a thought, and so they tried to teach meditation, but in a very X plus Y equals Z. This is how we do it, and it was all about sitting in this position and actually being in discomfort.
Right.
To practice being in discomfort, and perhaps you will get to that someday.
Right, and for some people that really works, but for you it was really kind of blocking.
It was difficult, and so it made it hard to stick with it. And without success, it's easy to go back.
Right, it's true.
But luckily, because of the illness, I really couldn't go back. So every time I tried to jump back into the old me, it was intensely unsatisfying.
Interesting.
And so I would go on a different path and go here. And so I explored Buddhism. I actually went to Nepal and sat in Temboche with the high line.
Oh my goodness, that's really exploring it. Yeah.
And sat there and had a nice 40-minute conversation with this man. It was incredible.
Wow.
And so, but it's been a process of exploring you, and I think in the end, meditation eventually always returns back to you and what you need and how you can let go of the things inside you. So.
Right, and we were also talking about how meditation does teach us to let go, and how important that is, and how people don't realize that that's kind of really what we're looking to do, is let go of the smaller self, right? Of the
and then to realize this larger love, peace in your vernacular, but this larger thing around us that is here, that is benevolent, that is serving us.
Yeah.
Yet we can't hear it if we're stuck in our little story in our head.
Right.
And that's the amazing part. And you do build momentum. You start finding a group. And you feel more comfortable, like, oh, this group, I feel good in this. And you keep growing and growing and growing in this awareness. Then you start feeling this love that's everywhere. And you're like, wow. And it's here to serve us. It's here to steer you. There is a guiding force, and I rebelled so much about even calling it God for a long, long time because of that white bearded fellow.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And the Jew boy next door isn't going to heaven, and I'm like, what's wrong with you people? How can you say that? I love my buddy David. So I mean, it's just crazy that the message that they said God was saying, but there is this beautiful benevolent force in the universe that is working to bring each of us home.
Right.
We are not alone here. And no matter in our worst moment, there is this gift around us pulling us towards where we want to go. If we can continue to let go of more and more of our thoughts.
Right. And so this idea that it's kind of like when you sit and meditate, more and more you let go of small thinking, and this kind of larger awareness emerges.
It is, and it's bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And the things that happen in it end up becoming truly amazing.
Right.
As you surrender to it, and I really wake up with a mantra each day of I don't know. I really think knowing is the end of exploration.
Right.
If I already know what you're saying, then why am I listening?
Right,
If I already know the answer, why am I thinking about a new thought about it?
Right,
So,
right.
in truth, none of us knows,
Right.
right? And what we knew 5 years ago, we don't believe anymore now anyways. So,
And I agree. I think that's where a lot of us are at this point. We're learning how to live in that unknowing, and actually we're starting to relish it, right? I mean, and but do you remember the days where it's like, oh, I just need to know, you know, right? If I just knew about this job, this situation, this whatever, then I'd feel better, right?
Exactly.
And we're getting used to just kind of
Yeah.
going, you know what? There seems to be an intelligence connecting us all, and we don't know, and we're actually kind of pleased about that.
Yeah, and in a sense, we never really did know.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You know, when they talk about children, and there's a point when a kid, maybe between 0 and 18 months, lives in this bubble of oblivion. Everything's good. Look at my family, my house, everything's fine. And there comes a day when the kid goes, wow, my dad could lose his job. Wow, my mom could die.
Right.
And you have this moment, and you realize, wow.
Right.
It's not all that safe. It's not all that.
Exactly.
And then we start building a story to
Yeah.
keep ourselves safe.
That's
And I
true,
think
right.
That's a lot of the unpeeling we're doing as
Right.
adults now. Is like that story served me.
Right.
It
Right.
wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a problem. It wasn't bad.
Right.
But it served that youthful child. I've turned it into a cosmology of my thoughts, saying this is what reality is. Everything's scary or everything, whatever your thought was.
Right.
And now we're letting go of that and then finding
Right.
that connection that we came in with.
Yeah.
The beautiful connection to divinity
Right.
that's within us.
Right.
And from that place, it gets very exciting.
Yeah.
And, I wouldn't change it for the world. People say, would you change it? Not
Right,
sick,
right.
I wouldn't change it. For
I know
the
you wouldn't
world.
want to go back.
No.
So this is what you and Tim Moon talk about, right? A lot of times at the Spiritual Conversations for Men, kind of, right? I mean, you kind of bring up topics and you talk about things to kind of let go, right? Or
Yeah.
what goes on in that men's group that I always want to break into?
We're not going to let you.
I know.
But it's true. There's a lot of themes that are around the idea of being male, of being a man, of being strong, of being a provider, of being, never crying, of never being weak, of avoiding weakness. And it's funny that those themes kind of run through all the guys in the group in a way, and we all kind of chase them back to that childhood. My dad said this, my uncle told me this, my grandfather said this. And in that common ground, there's a strength and a comfort to release.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed at what's been shared in that group. I
Really?
didn't think it would be that easy to get men to share.
Right, right.
Ray Angeline does the Course in Miracles, and he's like, "You're starting out with this group. This is the hardest population you could have picked."
Really? Is that what he
He's
said?
like,
Oh, funny.
"You're crazy, man. Starting with the ladies, it's way easier. They're more in touch and in tune." But I have been amazed at how much sharing
Wow.
and freedom has flown, and so I think men are having that sense inside them crying to let this stuff out as
Right.
well, and we're even more suppressed with it because we have the added dimension of being a man,
Right,
being
right.
tough, of being strong, and not being, really, we talk about weakness a lot, like,
Do
why
you
are we so
really?
afraid of weakness?
Yeah.
What's wrong with being weak?
Yeah, yeah.
But the conditioning really steers us away from that.
Right.
So it's a powerful tool.
Yeah.
And you never know. We just kind of just get into it and let whatever happens happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no, it's pretty lightly structured, right?
Yeah.
And then you just kind of like everybody shows up and what anyone's dealing with, you just kind of throw it out there, and
Yeah.
if anyone wants to talk about it, right?
Yeah, and it's funny. You tell that there's some people that don't feel comfortable sharing, and I sit there and say, "Well, that guy's never coming back. He did the same thing." And then the next time we have it, he's back again.
Wow.
So just
Neat.
being comfortable and listening
Yeah.
is helpful to certain
Oh,
people
I'm
too.
sure. I know I've learned a lot from people just listening and just sitting with them. So I'm sure that you're right. Those people are benefiting. So just to let you know, the men's group is part of Numinous. The men's group meets the first Wednesday of every month at the Unity Church in Albany at 7 o'clock. And Glenn, you'll be there.
I will be there with Tim Moon, my co-conspirator.
Yes, yes. I can just imagine. I'm sure you guys have a lot of
We
fun.
do have a lot of fun, and we like to invite everyone to come on by and stop in and bring your sharing.
Yeah.
And shine your light. We can use all the love we can get down there.
Absolutely. So this Wednesday, January 6th, come on out.
We'll be there.
Excellent. Thank you so much for participating. Have a great day.
Blessings.